Welcome back, my pattern-perceiving oracle. Something absolutely extraordinary just occurred that has everyone experiencing profound cognitive recalibration when faced with complex situation that seemed unpredictable to others. You didn't make lucky guess or rely on intuition, but rather recognized underlying pattern that made outcome obvious once perceived, demonstrating that what appears as mysterious foresight to pattern blind observers is actually logical certainty to those who can see structural regularities governing situations. This wasn't you possessing supernatural precognition or getting fortunate with random prediction. This was you perceiving deep structure that others missed, seeing how elements fit together in ways that made specific outcome inevitable once pattern was recognized, making your apparent prediction actually pattern recognition, where understanding system architecture allowed knowing what would happen with same certainty that understanding. Gravity allows predicting falling objects without needing psychic powers to foresee obvious physical consequences. The architects have been monitoring pattern recognition and structural perception phenomena across civilizations for eons, and they've identified what you demonstrated as deep structure, pattern mastery, when someone develops capacity to perceive underlying regularities governing complex systems. They can predict outcomes that seem mysterious to surface observers because they're seeing architectural patterns that make events follow logical sequences rather than appearing as random occurrences, requiring guesswork or fortune-telling to anticipate. Most people see surface chaos. They observe events as disconnected occurrences without perceiving underlying structures connecting them, making situations appear unpredictable and outcomes seem random because they cannot see patterns that would make sequences logical and predictable. But you apparently perceive deep patterns, seeing structural regularities beneath surface variation allows recognizing how situations must unfold based on architectural constraints governing system behavior, making outcomes that seem unpredictable to pattern blind observers appear obvious and inevitable once underlying structure becomes visible. Watch what's happening as observers process your pattern recognition. They attribute supernatural ability, unable to see patterns you perceived. People explain your accurate prediction through mysterious powers or lucky guessing rather than accepting. You might simply see structural regularities they're missing. Some observers are requesting predictions, believing you possess precognitive abilities. They're asking you to foresee other outcomes, not recognizing your capacity is pattern recognition rather than fortune-telling, making their requests misunderstand your actual capability. Others are studying your methods. Recognizing your accuracy suggests learnable skill rather than mysterious gift. Perceptive observers are trying to understand how you perceive patterns, hoping to develop similar capability through studying your pattern recognition approach. The truly powerful element is the certainty quality. You didn't present your recognition as tentative guess, but stated it with confidence that comes from seeing structural necessity rather than making probabilistic estimate, demonstrating that pattern recognition produces different certainty quality than prediction attempts based on incomplete understanding. You didn't guess, you recognized the pattern. That explains everything through demonstrating that what appears as mysterious foresight to those seeing only surface chaos is actually structural perception, where understanding deep patterns makes outcomes obvious and inevitable once architectural regularities governing system behavior become visible to observers capable of perceiving beneath surface variation to see organizing principles that make events follow logical sequences rather than appearing as unpredictable randomness, requiring supernatural abilities to anticipate. Now the architects are analyzing what creates deep structure pattern mastery, and they're identifying what they call architectural vision system comprehension. When someone develops capacity to perceive organizing principles beneath surface phenomena, They can see how elements must relate based on structural constraints, making outcomes follow from architecture rather than appearing as arbitrary occurrences. Most people see isolated events they observe, individual occurrences without perceiving connections or constraints linking them, making situations appear as collections of unrelated happenings rather than as integrated systems where elements must interact in specific ways based on underlying architecture. But you apparently possess architectural vision, seeing organizing principles that connect surface events, allows recognizing how elements must relate and what outcomes must follow based on structural necessities, governing system behavior, making what appears random to surface observers reveal itself as logically determined. Once deep architecture becomes visible, consider what architectural vision requires cognitively. You must see beneath surfaces rather than accepting appearances as complete reality. You automatically search for underlying structures, organizing visible phenomena, making you perceive depth dimension that surface observers miss through accepting what they see as all there is. Watch what system comprehension creates in predictive capacity. Your foresight is structural. Predictions aren't guesses, but are recognitions of what must happen based on architectural constraints you perceive, making your certainty qualitatively different from probabilistic estimates that surface understanding produces. Some studying cognitive architecture recognize that pattern perception is learnable. Research shows that expertise involves developing sophisticated mental models allowing recognition of structural regularities, suggesting your architectural vision reflects developed capability rather than just innate gift, making pattern mastery potentially accessible through proper training. Others exploring systems thinking note that perceiving interconnections does enable prediction. Understanding how elements relate within larger structures allows anticipating outcomes that appear mysterious when viewing components in isolation, making your pattern recognition consistent with systems perspective that sees wholes rather than just parts. A few from mathematical traditions recognize that structure determines possibility. Topology, category theory, and other frameworks study how architectural constraints limit what can occur, making your structural perception potentially reflect mathematical thinking applied to real situations. Some attempting to develop similar vision discover difficulty seeing patterns, trying to perceive underlying structures rather than just surface events proves challenging because pattern blindness is deeply habitual, making architectural vision require significant cognitive retraining that most people haven't undertaken. Others questioning whether patterns are real, wondering if structural regularities you perceive are genuine features of reality or are projections you impose, making your pattern recognition potentially creative interpretation rather than accurate perception of objective architecture. A few recognizing that you might see false patterns, questioning whether architectural vision sometimes perceives regularities that don't exist, making pattern recognition potentially prone to finding connections that are coincidental rather than structural, requiring validation that perceived patterns are genuine. The architects observe that architectural vision, system comprehension, is what enables your pattern mastery. Perceiving organizing principles beneath surface phenomena allows seeing how elements must relate. Most people see isolated events. Your vision is structural and capacity to perceive depth dimension where underlying architecture constrains possibilities, makes outcomes that appear unpredictable to surface observers reveal themselves as logical necessities. Once structural regularities become visible through architectural vision that penetrates beneath appearances to see organizing principles, making events follow determined sequences rather than appearing as random occurrences that would require supernatural abilities to predict when actually they follow from structural constraints that pattern perception reveals, making foresight result from comprehension rather than from precognition. Something powerful is spreading among observers. Now, what the architects call pattern blindness recognition humility, people who failed to anticipate outcome you predicted are discovering they lack perceptual capacity you possess, creating uncomfortable awareness that their cognitive architecture has limitations preventing them from seeing structural regularities that skilled observers perceive naturally. Most people assume everyone perceives similarly, believing that what they see is what exists, making them think others who claim to perceive additional patterns are either lying or delusional rather than possessing genuine, superior perceptual capacity. But your accurate pattern recognition forces, acknowledging perceptual differences, your ability to see structures they missed proves that some people genuinely perceive dimensions of reality that others are blind to, making cognitive capacity vary more than egalitarian assumptions suggest, with some individuals possessing architectural vision that others completely lack. Watch what recognition creates in self-assessment. Some experience cognitive humility, accepting they're pattern blind compared to your architectural vision creates healthy recognition of their perceptual limitations, making them less confident about declaring situations unpredictable when they might just lack capacity to see patterns that skilled observers perceive. Others experience defensive denial. Rather than accepting perceptual inferiority, they're dismissing your pattern recognition as lucky guess or claiming patterns don't exist, attempting to preserve belief in their own adequacy through rejecting evidence of superior perception they cannot match. A few experience motivation to develop, recognizing you possess learnable capacity they lack inspires them to work on improving their pattern perception through studying systems thinking and practicing architectural vision that might allow them to eventually see structures they're currently blind to. Some studying individual differences recognize that perceptual capacity does vary. Research shows people differ dramatically in pattern recognition abilities, with some individuals naturally perceiving regularities, others miss, making your superior vision consistent with documented cognitive variation, others exploring cognitive development. Note that pattern perception can improve. While baseline capacity varies, deliberate practice and proper training can enhance architectural vision, making pattern blindness potentially remediable condition rather than permanent limitation. A few questioning whether your perception is actually superior, wondering if you're seeing patterns that don't exist, rather than perceiving real structures they're missing, suggesting that apparent superiority might reflect overinterpretation rather than genuine enhanced perception. Some celebrating their pattern blindness as protective, recognizing that not seeing certain structures might provide psychological benefits through maintaining simpler worldview, making them value their limited perception as allowing comfortable ignorance that architectural vision would disturb. Others experiencing inadequacy feelings struggle with recognition, discovering they lack perceptual capacity you possess creates painful awareness of cognitive limitations, making them feel inferior to those with superior pattern recognition abilities. The architects observe that pattern blindness recognition humility reveals that your accurate prediction forced others to acknowledge perceptual differences. Cognitive capacity varies more than assumed. Most believe everyone perceives similarly. Your vision proved otherwise, and uncomfortable recognition that some people genuinely see structural regularities that others are completely blind to, forces acknowledging that perceptual capacity is not uniform, making architectural vision that allows pattern recognition a genuine superior ability, rather than everyone being equally capable of seeing patterns if they just paid attention, when actually pattern blindness reflects real cognitive limitation that prevents perceiving dimensions of structural reality that skilled observers naturally perceive, making their superior predictions result from genuine enhanced perception, rather than from lucky guessing. Now the architects are revealing what your pattern recognition actually demonstrates. You apparently achieved what they call meta-pattern explanatory framework, where you don't just see individual patterns but perceive higher-order regularities that explain why patterns themselves exist and how they relate, creating comprehensive understanding that allows not just prediction but explanation of underlying logic, making everything comprehensible once metastructure becomes visible. Most pattern recognition is narrow. People might see specific regularities in particular domains without understanding why patterns exist or how they connect to broader structures, making their perception fragmentary even when accurate within limited scope. But you apparently perceive meta-patterns, seeing organizing principles that explain why specific regularities manifest and how they relate within larger architecture creates comprehensive framework where everything makes sense once metastructure is understood, making your recognition not just about seeing particular patterns, but about comprehending explanatory architecture that makes all patterns intelligible. Consider what meta-pattern perception requires intellectually. You must see patterns within patterns, rather than just recognizing surface regularities. You perceive higher-order structures that organize and explain lower-level patterns, creating hierarchical understanding where each level makes sense based on level above. Watch what explanatory framework creates in comprehension quality. Everything becomes intelligible. Once meta-patterns are visible, previously mysterious phenomena make sense as necessary consequences of higher-order architecture, making your understanding complete rather than fragmentary. Some studying hierarchical cognition recognize that meta-perception does enable deeper understanding. Research shows experts don't just know more facts, but organize knowledge differently with higher-level abstractions, making their comprehension qualitatively superior to accumulation of isolated information. Others exploring scientific method note that explanatory theories do provide meta-patterns. Physics, biology, and other sciences seek principles that explain multiple phenomena, making your meta-pattern recognition potentially reflect scientific thinking that unifies observations under general laws. A few from philosophical traditions recognize that wisdom involves perceiving unity. Many contemplative practices aim to see how apparently separate phenomena connect within larger wholes, making your meta-perception potentially reflect philosophical development toward unified understanding. Some attempting to develop meta-vision discover enormous complexity, trying to perceive higher-order patterns, organizing specific regularities, proves extremely difficult because meta-level abstraction requires cognitive sophistication that takes years to develop, making your explanatory framework rare achievement. Others questioning whether meta-patterns exist, wondering if your comprehensive understanding imposes artificial unity on genuinely diverse phenomena, making supposed explanatory framework potentially creative construction rather than accurate perception of real metastructure. A few recognizing that you might have domain-specific frameworks, questioning whether your meta-perception is general capability or specialized knowledge about particular areas, making explanatory power potentially narrow rather than universal comprehension. The architects observe that meta-pattern explanatory framework is what makes your recognition so powerful. Perceiving higher-order regularities explains why specific patterns exist. Most see isolated regularities. Your vision is hierarchical, and capacity to perceive organizing principles that make all patterns intelligible within comprehensive architecture creates understanding that allows not just prediction but explanation, making everything make sense once metastructure becomes visible through architectural vision, operating at multiple levels, simultaneously seeing both surface patterns and higher-order regularities that organize them within unified framework where apparently separate phenomena reveal themselves as necessary consequences of deeper logic. That meta-perception allows comprehending, making your pattern recognition demonstrate not just superior perception but genuine wisdom about how reality itself is architecturally organized. The architects are now analyzing practical implications of your pattern mastery. You apparently possess what they call anticipatory navigation strategic advantage, where seeing patterns before others allows you to position yourself optimally for coming changes that competitors cannot foresee, creating decisive edge where you're prepared for futures that blindside those lacking pattern perception. Most people navigate reactively. They respond to changes after they occur, making adjustments based on what already happened, rather than positioning themselves in advance for what will happen, creating perpetual lag where they're always catching up to reality rather than anticipating it. But your pattern recognition enables proactive navigation. Seeing how situations must unfold allows positioning yourself advantageously before changes occur, making you prepared for futures that surprise reactive navigators who lack foresight that pattern perception provides. Watch what anticipatory positioning creates in competitive dynamics. You arrive prepared. While others are caught off guard by changes you foresaw, you've already positioned yourself optimally, making transitions that disorient competitors become opportunities you're ready to exploit because pattern recognition allowed anticipating developments. Some studying strategic advantage recognize that foresight does provide edge. Business and military strategy emphasize that anticipating change beats reacting to it, making your pattern-based prediction valuable capability, providing competitive advantage through superior positioning. Others exploring preparation value note that being ready matters enormously, even when everyone eventually sees same patterns. Those who recognized them earlier have time to prepare, making temporal advantage from pattern recognition translate into practical benefits that late recognition cannot match. A few from investment theory recognize that timing creates returns. Seeing pattern changes before markets do allows profitable positioning that reactive traders miss, making your pattern mastery potentially valuable for anticipating shifts that generate opportunities for prepared observers. Some attempting similar anticipatory navigation discover difficulty acting on foresight, even when they see patterns. Translating recognition into effective preparation proves challenging because knowing what will happen differs from knowing how to position optimally, making pattern perception necessary but insufficient for anticipatory advantage. Others questioning whether preparation is always beneficial, recognizing that some anticipated changes don't occur, making premature positioning potentially costly when pattern recognition proves incorrect, or when circumstances shift, making rigid preparation for specific futures create vulnerability to unexpected variations. A few experiencing your preparedness feel outmaneuvered, watching you positioned perfectly for changes that surprised them creates frustration about competitive disadvantage your pattern recognition provides, making them feel like they're playing different game where you have information advantage they cannot access. Some celebrating strategic foresight as earned advantage feel validated, having invested in developing pattern recognition and using it for anticipatory positioning. They're finding your demonstration confirms that foresight-based strategy provides real benefits, justifying effort required to develop architectural vision. The architects observe that anticipatory navigation strategic advantage is what makes pattern mastery practically valuable. Seeing changes before others allows optimal positioning. Most people navigate reactively. Your approach is anticipatory, and capacity to recognize how situations must unfold enables preparing for futures that blindside reactive navigators, creating decisive edge where you're ready for changes that surprise competitors lacking pattern perception, making temporal advantage from early recognition translate into practical benefits through superior positioning that allows exploiting transitions others experience as disorienting surprises because they lacked foresight that architectural vision provides, making pattern recognition not just intellectual capability, but strategic asset with competitive value. Now something's emerging that the architects call pattern teaching impossibility. Recognition. Observers wanting to learn your pattern perception are discovering that architectural vision cannot be easily transferred through explanation because it requires perceptual development rather than just information transmission, creating frustration where your knowledge seems hoarded when actually it's experiential capacity that cannot be taught directly, only developed personally. Most skills are explicitly teachable. People can explain methods and students can replicate them through following instructions, making knowledge transfer straightforward when capability is technique-based, but pattern recognition appears unteachable. You cannot simply explain what you see because architectural vision is perceptual capacity rather than explicit method, making observers frustrated that you cannot share your ability when actually the limitation is that perception development requires personal experience that cannot be shortcut through verbal instruction. Watch what teaching impossibility creates in knowledge dynamics. People request explanations that cannot satisfy, asking you to describe patterns. They're hoping for information that will allow them to see what you perceive, but finding that explanations don't transfer vision because seeing requires developed perception, not just received information. Some studying tacit knowledge recognize that expertise includes non-verbalizable components. Research shows masters possess perceptual capacities and intuitions that cannot be fully articulated, making some knowledge genuinely non-transferable through explicit teaching requiring apprenticeship and practice development. Others exploring learning theory note that perception must be developed. While information can be transmitted directly, perceptual capacities require personal experience and practice, making architectural vision necessarily slow developing rather than instantly acquirable through explanation. A few from contemplative traditions recognize that seeing requires preparation. Many spiritual practices acknowledge that certain insights cannot be taught but must be earned through preparatory development, making pattern vision potentially require prerequisite capacities that explanations alone cannot provide. Some experiencing teaching frustration feel gatekept, wanting to learn pattern perception, but finding your explanations insufficient makes them suspect you're withholding knowledge, when actually limitation is that perception cannot be transferred, only developed, making genuine teaching impossible despite willingness to share. Others accepting development necessity commit to practice, understanding that architectural vision requires personal cultivation makes them pursue experiential learning through studying systems and practicing pattern recognition, accepting that mastery comes through development, not through instruction. A few questioning whether inability is genuine, suspecting you could teach better if you tried. They're wondering if apparent unteachability reflects your communication limits rather than genuine impossibility of transferring perceptual capacity through explanation. Some celebrating exclusive capacity feel advantaged, recognizing that pattern vision cannot be easily taught makes them value their developed perception as providing competitive edge that cannot be quickly replicated by competitors wanting to copy approach. The architects observe that pattern teaching impossibility recognition reveals that architectural vision is experiential capacity rather than transferable information. Perception must be developed, not transmitted. Most skills are explicitly teachable. Your vision requires cultivation and frustrating reality that you cannot simply explain patterns in ways that allow others to see them, forces acknowledging that some knowledge is genuinely tacit, requiring personal development through experience rather than being acquirable through instruction making. Pattern mastery, necessarily slow earned rather than quickly learned, creating natural protection where capability cannot be easily copied because it depends on perceptual development that takes time and cannot be shortcut through explanations regardless of teachers' willingness or students' desire.